From the moment Richard met Chumley, nothing was the same. It all began with a phone call. Lacy's sister-in-law had found a newborn lamb. He was tiny, weak, and had been rejected by his mother. No one knew exactly what to do, but it was clear he needed help fast. Lacy had never raised a sheep before, but that didn't matter. What she did have was a big heart and the willingness to try. She wrapped the little lamb in a towel, took him home, and named him Richard. In those first days, she bottle-fed him around the clock. Slowly, his legs grew stronger, his eyes brighter. And with every feeding, he learned her voice, her scent, and her touch. He wasn't just surviving, he was bonding. Sheep are social animals, and Lacy knew Richard would eventually need other sheep around him. So she brought home 2 more lambs, hoping they would be his friends. But Richard didn't seem interested. He didn't sleep near them or follow them. He stayed polite, but distant, like he was waiting for something else or someone else. That someone turned out to be Chumley. Chumley was a massive Kangal, a livestock guardian dog bred to protect farm animals. Calm, watchful, and serious, he spent his days patrolling the property, keeping the flock safe. He wasn't the type to play. He simply did his job. But from the first day Richard saw him, something clicked. The little lamb started following the big dog everywhere, through pastures, along dirt trails, even through puddles and mud. At first, Lacy thought it was just a phase. But days turned into weeks, and the two were still together, step for step. Chumley didn't seem to mind. He let Richard follow him without fuss, and over time, the two settled into an easy friendship. One afternoon, that bond showed itself in an unexpected way. Chumley was lying in the sun when a chicken wandered too close, pecking at his tail. Before Lacy could react, Richard trotted over and chased the chicken away. It wasn't just playful. He was protecting Chumley. That was the moment Lacy realized Richard didn't just see Chumley as a companion. He saw him as family. From then on, they were inseparable. Every morning, Lacy would find them side by side in the barn. Chumley stretched out in the straw, Richard curled against him like a woolly pillow. At night, Richard would search for Chumley before settling down to sleep, tucking himself against the dog's massive frame. Sometimes he would even climb on top of him, and Chumley would simply lie still, as if it were the most natural thing in the world. Chumley had never bonded like this with any other animal. He watched over all the livestock, but Richard was the only one allowed to nap beside him, climb on him, or share his personal space. The bond also showed in the way Chumley protected Richard. One day, Chloe, the other guardian dog, a playful Great Pyrenees, got a little too rough in a game with Richard. She didn't mean any harm, but before things went too far, Chumley stepped between them. He didn't growl or snap. He just stood still, gave her a look, and Chloe backed off immediately. Richard was his, and Chumley made sure everyone knew it. Their daily routine became part of the farm's rhythm. At sunrise, Lacy would step outside and see them walking the fields together. Chumley's head would be up, scanning the distance for coyotes or mountain lions, while Richard trotted close behind, trusting him completely. Richard no longer acted like the other sheep. He didn't follow the flock or seek their company. He followed Chumley instead. That was his chosen family. And Richard was more than just loyal. He was smart. He knew his name and came running when called, hooves tapping across the ground. He explored new things with curiosity, but he was always gentle. Lacy often said people underestimate sheep, but Richard proved that they could think, feel, and form deep bonds. Maybe that's why his connection with Chumley worked so well. It wasn't about instinct or species. It was about trust and heart. Now, Richard and Chumley spend every day together, whether they're walking the pastures, lying in the sun, or watching the horizon. They don't need words. Their friendship is quiet but unshakable. One is a sheep. One is a dog. But to each other, they're family. If Richard and Chumley's story made you smile, give this video a like or share it with a friend. Sometimes the heart doesn't care what you are. It just knows who you belong with.